Students, let's begin with our next kind of essay in IELTS, that is to what extent do you agree or disagree. I've already discussed both views and give your opinion. You can subscribe my video and you can watch all my uploaded videos in connectivity with IELTS. Let's begin with the explanation. So this is the basic format of any kind of essay. In any essay there is an introduction in which like there are three sentences. First is fact, second is paraphrase the question in your own words, and then there is a thesis statement, and it is followed by body paragraphs. And body paragraphs, like body 1 we are writing one view, and body 2 another, and body 3 another. But the structure of body paragraph is like topic sentence, supporting it with reasons, and developing it with an example. So you can see in all three body paragraphs same pattern is followed, only the topic sentence is varying, and in connectivity with the topic sentence your reason and example is also varying. So this thing you need to focus on when you're writing IELTS essay. And then comes the conclusion. In conclusion you need to sum up all the body paragraphs content in one line, and then you can restate the thesis, and in the end you can leave message for the reader. So that's really important. So here is more general frame of any IELTS essay. So this you can go through, and let's begin with the explanation of to what extent do you agree or disagree. And to what extent do you agree or disagree, this essay you can write in three ways. Either you can completely agree, or you can completely disagree, or you can partly agree or disagree. So any one of the three pattern you can follow and justify your opinion with the help of statement, reason and example. So a very important point which you need to keep in mind while writing IELTS essay is you should think, plan, write and revise. That's really important. Like thinking and deciding what all things and what all content you are going to write in your essay, and what structure you are going to follow according to the question. As you can see in this question, the government's investment in arts, music and theatre is a waste of money. Governments should invest these funds in public services instead. To what extent do you agree with this statement? So here a question is raised that okay, a government investment in arts, music and theatre is a waste of money for some, and that money should be invested in public services instead. So that's the suggestion which is given. So you cannot completely agree with it, because we cannot spend all our funds in public services and just discard arts, music or theatre, because everything is important in life. Proportion may vary, percentage may vary, but completely we cannot say that all money should be invested in only one sector. That's my perception, my way of writing. So I'll be following with both pros and cons of this particular topic. So let's find out how we can approach this kind of essay. Like this is a classic example of an IELTS writing question that asks you to what extent do you agree or disagree with it. Choose your opinion and generate ideas. Unlike classic or agree or disagree question, to what extent do you agree or disagree questions do not ask you clearly determine whether you agree or disagree with this given statement. So you can either follow completely agree pattern, completely disagree pattern, or partially. And my always all time favorite is partly, and whenever it is to what extent essay, I always follow this rule only, that I partly agree with the statement. So and this gives you more room for discussion, and you do not get short of synonyms when you are discussing certain things. So I follow this AD formula, but you can follow AA or DD also, but for me third kind of formula works more. In here, like if you are saying that okay, completely invest in arts, music, theater is a waste of money, so you can say art, music and theater don't help to solve urgent problems of the society. Art and music can develop as hobbies and saved money can be directed towards urgent needs of the society. And if artists and musicians were employed at more traditional jobs, there would be a great benefit for science and industry. So this is like the writer can completely agree that okay, this investment should be utilized for the society. Then if the writer is completely disagreeing, these points can be used. The arts and music preserve unique culture and heritage, passion nations cultural character and tradition to future generations. Arts, music and theater are an integral part of the society's cultural and intellectual development and amusement. And third is like a strong arts, music and theater sector is an economic asset that creates new jobs and attracts tourism revenue. But if I have to write, I'll follow this AD formula. Like on the one hand, I'll discuss like okay, whatever the writer is saying, that's okay, that money should be spent on public services. And on the other hand, I'll be discussing the flip side of it, that okay, arts and music and theater are also equally important and need some expenditure support from the government. Having said that, I am going to write my personal perception, but I am going to use it in a more generic way. I cannot write having said that I personally believe. That's not my personal belief. That is like in general, like what it should be. For this opinion, just combine the ideas with the previous points. For our essay, we'll choose the last opinion, partly agree or disagree, partially agree or disagree. You can write the conclusion in one sentence that summarizes your opinion, plus two reasons for it to conclude. Though I agree that the government should allocate a large part of its budget on such urgent needs of the society like public services, I think that arts, music and theatre should also be financed, since they play an important role in people's development and entertainment. So this is the pattern of the essay, and in this you can easily see that okay, first sentence is paraphrasing, and they are always skipping what I have seen, the generic statement or factual statement, which we can write in the beginning in this particular kind of essay is like government aid is required in different sectors. Then we can write this line, okay, it is often argued that the government should finance public services instead of spending its budget on arts, music and theatre, because that is paraphrasing the question in your own words. Then the thesis statement, although I agree that government's investments in public services play a very important role, I think that proper funding of art sector is also crucial for the society. That's the stance. On the one hand, that's the first body paragraph, the government should definitely allocate a large part of its budget on public services. This economic sector determines the overall quality of life, ensuring that some basic services like schools, hospitals and roads are available to all citizens irrespective of their income or social status. Then more elaboration or more reasoning is provided, like public services satisfy the primary needs of the society and thus need a proper funding, while artists and musicians are not curing diseases or building houses, so their role is secondary. Example is also given. For example, any country can live without music, concerts, but absence of medicine will create significant problems. That's why the government should adequately finance public services in the first place. On the other hand, arts, music and theatre are not a waste of money, since they are an integral part of the society's cultural and intellectual development and amusement. Firstly, art and music draws people's attention to diverse phenomena and represent the inward significance of things. This is the reasoning which the writer has provided, and along with that, like reasoning and also lots of examples are highlighted in this particular paragraph. Like this way, art serves a major source of national, personal and intellectual development. Moreover, visiting museums, watching movies and listening to music are common ways of relaxation and entertainment. Thus, art sector is also important for the society and should not be neglected. Having said that is one paragraph which I would introduce in here before the conclusion, and in that I can write the blend of both, balance amount of money can be divided with the help of proper committee or proper members, so that the society can benefit both ways, and then I will write this conclusion. So, to conclude, though I agree that the government should allocate a large part of its budget on such urgent needs of the society like public services, I think that arts, music and theatre should also be financed, since they play an important role in people's development and entertainment. So, this is to what extent do you agree or disagree type essay, and you can go through this explanation and you can read it, that how it is considered to be a good essay and what all plus points are there. An examiner cannot resist giving good score for this essay. So, there are few examples which I have added in this particular presentation. So, these students, they have already grabbed good score. You can also see here one example, like some people believe that unpaid community services should be compulsory part of high school programs. For example, working for a charity, improving the neighborhood or teaching sports to younger children. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So, here's the answer, like factual statement is there, then paraphrasing the question in own words, then the writer's partial agreement in the thesis statement is there. On the one hand, these activities will lay a strong foundation of ethics and morals for pupils, inculcating them in doing good deeds will convert them into prodigies and will become sound citizens with due diligence, and there is an example. On the other hand, the flip side is highlighted, it is supported by a reason and developed by an example. Having said that, helping others should be an indispensable part of all individuals, both macro and micro levels. The middle-aged minds should be involved in plethora of generous initiatives, which in turn fills the gap between help required and paucity of the helpers. There is an example. Finally, conclusion, to recapitulate, or you can here write to reiterate, that is my favorite. So, to reiterate, although the essence of community services is the need of the hour, but should be imbibed regardless of any reward, ergo the collective conscience of schools and institutions should make social service mandates. So, here are a few more examples in connectivity with to what extent do you agree or disagree type essay. In this particular essay, they have completely agreed to it, but I do not follow this pattern, but still I have provided this so that you can go through the example, and the vocabulary used is really good in these essays. You can go through these essays example and read the content. Here is another kind of essay, not kind, it is another example of to what extent essay. In this the problem of traffic congestion and pollution is highlighted, and the solution given is to hike the prices of petrol, and the examiner asked to what extent do you agree or disagree with the statement. So, here one solution, just there cannot be only single solution by rising the petrol price. You can tackle the problem of pollution as well as traffic congestion. So, definitely I will choose partial agreement. On the one hand, I will say yes, this hiking of price petrol, or if hefty amount of money is charged for petrol, definitely these problems can be curbed, or we can combat these problems to an extent with the reason and example I have highlighted here. Then on the other hand, again I have given the statement here. this student is also writing this essay in partial form, and there is a reason. Along with that, there is an example on the other hand. Having said that, alternative measures are highlighted in this, and example is also provided, like what all things can be done to resolve this problem. Then comes the conclusion, to conclude or to reiterate. B1, B2, B3 is summed up, and then message for the reader you can add. So here is the example. I guess I have repeated the example. There is another essay. This is also like another way of saying your thesis, like factual statement is there, restate is there, and in this way also you can express your partial agreement on the one hand, then reason, then example, on the other hand, reason, example. Having said that, what can be alternative ways of dealing with it or resolving the issue, along with reason and example. Then to conclude, this is another example of to what extent essay. These are the TRFs of the students. The examples which you have gone through right now were written by these students, and you can see they have grabbed 7.5 and 7 band in writing, and it is completely justifying that okay, yes, this formula is working and you can crack your IELTS examination. Here is another example. You can go through this example also. There might be a couple of punctuation mistakes, spelling mistakes. Still, you can see that examiner is accepting those mistakes. Despite those mistakes, these students, they have scored 7 or 7.5 band. This is the formula which you can keep in mind while framing this kind of essay, like okay, to what extent do you agree or disagree, intro, general introduction, and introduction, general fact, then restate, then thesis. You can write, okay, this may not be the only way to deal with the issue, or this essay will discuss both aspects of the phenomena and the partial agreement on the one hand, then reason, example on the other hand, reason, example. Having said that, reason, example, and then conclusion. So to conclude, B1, B2, B3, whatever, thus, therefore, and message for the reader. So this is the structure which you can follow into what extent essay. Thank you so much. And if you are going to practice more, like when it comes to IELTS writing, it's important to practice and write the essays and get it checked by the tutor. You can write couple of essays and you can post to me so that I can check your answer and tell you that whether you are going on the right track or wrong track, because that checking is really important. Students can cram certain things, they can follow the format, they can follow the structure, but it's important to get your essays checked so that you are not going off track, and that a teacher can only tell. Thank you so much. Good luck and God bless for your IELTS examination.